What's up, everybody? It's your boy DaLion here with BW Sports 1, and we are here with another episode of Combat Zone, powered by Carma Coin. Check out the cryptocurrency that gives away to charities and gives you a chance to win supercars. CarmaCoin.co today. Elite Performance 765-499-1005, where the dream of elite fitness becomes a reality. Call Zach today and get started on your journey. Revved Up Tattoos, 317-537-2667. Book your next ink therapy session with our boy Todd over at Revved Up Tattoos. You won't be disappointed. BaumBurgers, that's right, 7960 US 31 South in Indianapolis. Famous for steak burgers, but they are the bomb. BeeLit Organics, our girl Brittany Carreno has got all the natural products, phenomenal feeling, soaps, bath salts, candles, you name it, she's got it. BeeLit Organics.
Round 1, fight!
What is going on, BW Sports 1 World? It is your boy DaLion live. That's right, we are live. We have a very special guest joining us in the Combat Zone for her first initial joining, I should say, presence felt here. Miss Crystal Lawson, what is happening?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, we're glad to have you. Thank you for taking a little bit of your time out to join us here live for the world to see. Now, the BW Sports 1 world may not all know quite, where you're coming from on your background in MMA, in bare knuckle, in Muay Thai, in wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and all that. So give us a little bit of background of where Crystal Lawson comes from.
Yeah, sure. So I've been training for around 11 years now. I originally started out doing Muay Thai, and that's been my primary discipline. I've done some MMA. I've had around 5 MMA fights and did pretty well. It's just never been where, my love was. I just always went back to Muay Thai, or when I got an MMA match, then, something Muay Thai would come up. So I've done a lot of no-gi grappling. I've done some kickboxing, but primarily for 11 years, my main focus has been Muay Thai. So I'm really looking forward to this because I think everyone's kind of getting into the bare knuckle thing now. It's new. Even if someone has more MMA experience than another person or more boxing experience, it's cool because we're all still starting at the bare knuckle level, right? So I think it's going to be a big difference. I do love hitting people with MMA gloves. So when I was given this opportunity to be able to do bare knuckle MMA, I was like, okay, cool. So not only do I get to do just bare knuckle boxing, I get to also have all my other tools too. So I'm just looking so forward to I see a lot of the bare knuckle fights maybe aren't as technical, and I know that could very well possibly be this, but I'm hoping to be able to bring some of the Muay Thai technique into the bare knuckle world as well.
Well, we don't want to get too quick on ourselves and announce this fight coming up yet, because I want to know where the love of Muay Thai really came for you. I mean, when did you kind of know that this is what I wanted to do, especially with Muay Thai? Because a lot of people, in the States are finally coming around to Muay Thai, but Muay Thai's been a major fight promotion across seas.
Yeah, I tell people I went to school for a lot of different things. I have my cosmetology license, I have my aesthetics license, personal training. But I'm somebody who really just does what my soul feels is right. And I was never felt complete, I guess. And I watched a documentary. It was Master Toddy's Tough Girl at the time. It's the one that had like Gina Carano on it. And I watched that show and I was like, this is what I want to do. And I literally, like, I fell in love with it as soon as I saw it, you know, as soon as people were elbowing the bags and their elbows are bleeding, and just something just really spoke to me about it. I'd never been particularly good at any sports. I was shy in school. It wasn't overly athletic. So it was kind of weird that I just decided that this is what I loved and what my soul was calling me to do. So I called around some gyms and I started training the next day. And after 6 months, I had my first fight, and I actually had the opportunity in 2011 to go out to Thailand and film for that show. So it was kind of cool that how it all like circled back around for me. But yeah, I just love it.
So would you say that Muay Thai is I don't want to say a better martial art, but does it bring more maybe athleticism and skills and knowledge to the game more so than others?
Not necessarily. I mean, MMA requires a lot because there's so many different aspects, right? I mean, you've got to be a good MMA fighter. Obviously, you've got to be well-rounded. You have to have everything. So, yes, Muay Thai can be a lot more technical, and you can have a lot more tricks and things like that. But with MMA, you have to not just be good at one place. You've got to be sufficient everywhere so that you're a well-rounded fighter. So it could actually take a lot more thinking. That's, you know, for me right now, just putting everything together. I mean, coming from a striking standpoint, it's some of the hardest people to transition over are strikers. We all know that because our mindset is just to stand. And so it's like getting those instincts of knowing, like, okay, like even though I'm in this position, I can still strike from here, or I still have this or that. So it's just getting in the right mindset.
Now, how hard or difficult was it for people or yourself to find fights for you in Muay Thai?
It's been really hard, especially over the past little bit. I mean, at my weight, I'm not very big. I'm 5'2". I generally fight at 110. Ideally, I've had to take a lot of fights out of my weight at higher weight classes. I walk around pretty light, around 119 generally, and that's if I'm eating cookies, which I generally do. So, you know, I mean, I'm not a big person. I'm having to fight a lot bigger girls. So it's pretty difficult, and Muay Thai is kind of just, it continues to go down. There's a few organizations, but everybody's kind of going to kickboxing. So for me, I realized with the bare knuckle thing that the very first time I saw it, I was like, man, there's no way I'll ever do this. And then I kept watching it and I was like, okay, well, maybe. And then I love Lethway. So I've been trying to find a Lethway fight. And then this opportunity came up and I said, you know what, like, let's just go for it. I understand that if I put myself in a box at this point and I say I'm only going to do Muay Thai, then guess what? I might not fight for another year. So it's up to me as a fighter. It's just like any job you have, you are continuously learning, right? And it's the same way with martial arts. Like, just because maybe I don't know a lot about bare knuckle MMA right now, not a lot of people do, doesn't mean I shouldn't learn and progress as a fighter and an athlete so that I can be the best at that, because that's what people want to see now, and that's where we're going. That's what the world's after right now.
Right. So when you made the transition over from the Muay Thai, the stand-up game, to your grappling and your jiu-jitsu and all that game, when you moved to MMA, how was that difficult for you, and what did you see as the biggest obstacles that you faced during that time?
Oh, I mean, I'm still facing plenty of obstacles. I just recently found out that I'm taking a bare knuckle MMA fight.
Right.
So I mean, I always face obstacles when I'm training MMA. My mindset gets straight into it. It's more about me knowing when to transition or when to just be aware that, okay, something's coming. Because once you start hitting people, you're not really thinking about people shooting in on you and stuff. So I think that's always the biggest thing for most strikers.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I would agree with that. Okay, so we've been talking about it. There's been speculations. There's been pictures put out of the contract signing. Gamebred is where you're heading. Who did you draw as your first opponent in your debut bare knuckle MMA fight?
I drew Sarah Click. She is out of Massachusetts. I'm not sure what gym she trains out of, but I know she lives up in Mass.
Okay. So I know she's in Bourne, Massachusetts. Yep.
Mhm.
So she's got a record. It looks like an MMA record of 2-3.
Yeah.
But it's it's Bellator, it's Cage Titans, it's LFA, it's the big names. So how did you feel when you got that call from Gamebred or your manager or however that worked? How did that make you feel knowing that okay, I've talked about it, I've thought about it, why not?
Yeah, I felt really excited. I think Sarah's going to be a good opponent. I've actually met Sarah before at maybe like a lion fight or a cage titan event or something like that. I lived up north for a while, so I've actually met her a couple times. She was nice to me. I don't have anything negative to say about her. Size wise, we're pretty similar in size. So I think, yeah, she has a little bit more MMA experience. But with that being said, we're both new to the bare knuckle scene, and anything can happen. I've got a little more MMA or more Muay Thai fights. I know she loves Muay Thai. I'm thinking she's probably going to try and stand and bang because I know she likes to do that too. So I think it's going to be a really good fight.
I know I am looking forward to it, and I believe it is September 11th, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
September 11th, Biloxi, Mississippi is where it's going down. Crystal Lawson. Now, I want to kind of switch perspectives here onto a bit of a personal level here. So there was some articles written. Your name was in them, talking about some weird guy from. You'd have to kind of. I don't remember exactly where he's from and all that,
I'm
but
thinking he's from
kind
like
of.
Louisville, Arkansas. I believe is where he's like originally from or lives or something.
Okay, so what you would like to tell us on this situation, please do. The floor is yours on this because I want more information, and as well as most people out there in, especially the combat sport world, where there's all kinds of people, just predators looking for prey in a essence, and especially when it comes to the female fighters that are really embracing this sport. We don't want to shy them away and scare them off, especially from this sport because of a few bad apples, such as it sounds like this guy is. So please, whatever you would like to tell us, elaborate on this situation that's going on.
Okay, yeah. So my manager's name is Tammy Stone. Tammy had a death in her family, and she had this guy, Reed Cook, kind of running her Facebook page for her. And just, obviously she's going through a pretty major loss. And she said, if you have anything come up, reach out to this guy. We had a potential fight kind of fall through that was supposed to happen. So I did reach out to him, and he called, and I kind of let him know everything that was going on. And during the course of the conversation, he's talking a really big game, like, oh, we're gonna get you this fight, this fight. That was kind of the end of that phone call. He calls back the next day. Remember, I had mentioned I wanted to do Lethway, and he was like, well, like, how bad do you want it? And I was like, I really want to try. Like, I'd love to go to Burma and just like train there and really learn the art. And he was like, well, when can you leave? He was like, because I have a place right now that'll put you up. They'll pay for all your housing. Like, I said, yeah, but like, I also have a dog. I was like, pit bulls aren't allowed there. And he was like, you can have anything you want. You're going to be treated like royalty. And he just goes on and on. At this point, I'm like, I don't really know. Like, something, I've been in the game for a while. This guy seems kind of sketch, but at the same time, like, she trusted him. So I'm not thinking too much of it. Every post that I put, he's kind of commenting, then he's starting to kind of keep up with everything I'm doing. Since talking to this guy, I had gotten a random message on my phone a few days later. My first name is Tony, but it's with an I. I just don't go by it. I never have. My mom gave me 4 names. So, so no one would really know that. an associate, but I get a text message and it's like, "Hi Tony, this is such and such a girl's name. Like, do you want to meet up today?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think you have the wrong number." And so then this girl was like, "Oh my God, this is so crazy. Like, this guy must have given me the wrong number." And I was like, and then she said something like, "That sounds, but you sound pretty cool." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know you." So then she sends a picture of herself, just like a regular picture. And she's like, "What do you think about the way I look?" And I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm totally getting spammed right now. So I don't reply back. And then she sends a message later trying to get me to meet up with her. I don't respond. And then she messages later, like, "Just got out of the shower. Do you want me to send pics?" And I was like, "Lose my number, you fucking creep. I don't talk to strangers on the internet."
Right.
And I didn't really hear anything back. So I'm thinking, now, I don't know for a fact, but it sounds a lot like this could be this guy. And because it goes a little bit deeper than that. So we had some fights on Saturday night here in Atlanta, and we have three. I trained at X3, but we have 3 or 4 X3. So there's like the MMA guys, there's the kickboxing guys, there's some just jujitsu guys. So we're not all at the same place or the same gym, like we might not cross paths. So this guy Reed sends me a Facebook message that Saturday night, and he was like, "Do you know such and such?" He named this guy's name. I was like, "No, it doesn't sound familiar. What's he look like?" And he kind of described him. I said, "No, I think he's one of the MMA guys, and I think he trains at the other X3. So I don't hear anything back. And then later on, he messages again describing the guy. It's late at night at this point. I'm not replying to the guy. So then he sends another message, and he said, "So I see you took a fight." And I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "For Gamebred." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm so excited!" Exclamation point. I don't know why I'm talking like I'm texting,
You must be talking to text a lot then.
I do, because like I'll LOL even like on a voicemail when I call people. It's ridiculous. But so then he's like, "Well, who are you fighting?" And I told him. He's like, "Oh no." He's like, "That's a terrible matchup for your manager. Yeah, I can't believe she'll let you take that fight." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" "Oh no, why?" And he was like, "That girl is huge." And I'm like, "No." And I wrote back, "No, she's not. Like, I've seen this girl. She's not huge." It's like, "This is a terrible fight. She is undefeated in bare knuckle." I said, "She's never fought bare knuckle." And I said, "You need to talk to my manager, because it's 12 o'clock at night at this point." And he said, "I'm not talking to your manager. I'm talking to you." And I was like, okay. So I text Tammy, and I started sending her the screenshots like, "Hey, this is what, like, you need to get this guy off my back," because he's just like relentless, like not stopping, not stopping, not stopping. So he continues, and finally I'm like, "Look, you don't fucking know me. You don't know anything about me. You don't know anything about my fight career. You've never seen me train. You've never seen me fight. Like, you don't know anything about me. So for you to say like, 'Hey, this is a bad fight,' or anything about this girl or anything, it's none of your business. You don't know either of us personally, as far as I know." And it's just getting really weird. And he continues on and on and on. So my manager's messaging him. She's saying, "Hey, leave my fighter alone. You don't talk to fighters like that when they have a fight coming up, like trying to get in their head and stuff." Like, luckily, right. I don't care what this guy says, because I don't know him, and I know the things he's saying aren't true. So long story short, Tammy then sends me a screenshot, or an article rather, someone had sent her. And we find out this guy's supposedly a promoter, a fight manager, like all these different titles. So now we did the research. He's not licensed in anything whatsoever. It's like all made up. And then the article that was sent to me is he, in 2017, was sentenced to 3 years in prison for assault, kidnapping, rape, and something else. He was convicted. He said that he tried to tell Tammy he wasn't convicted of breaking probation or something. But this, like, that's not, he held a girl for like 16 hours. He took her from a bar and like held her for 16 hours and like assaulted her and did all this crazy stuff to her until finally I think she was able to somehow get her phone and get help. But this is a guy who is going around like to female fighters and having like close connections with them. And like, this is a super dangerous guy. Like, he's been doing stuff, like we started looking more up on him. And I mean, it's not like it's his first offense. He's got multiple things like this where he's assaulting people. And from my understanding, maybe a girl in Vegas said that had some complaints about him as well. So, you know, we're doing everything we can to get his name out there so that he doesn't have access to these girls or their information. It's just, it's really creepy because, you know, it's somebody who could have had like more access to me, which I'm pretty good about not letting people know where I live or not letting them have personal information about me, not posting where I am certain times because I'm weirded out about that stuff anyway. So just knowing somebody like that can go off the rails is pretty wild.
And okay, please reiterate his name for the listeners so all know who it is.
It's Reed Cook, and I believe the name of his the company maybe was All Star Sports Management or something is what he claims to run. So yeah.
So have you been in contact with this management company at all?
I've kind of had my manager take everything over. I know she's been contacting like every state, like the commissions and stuff, just to be sure that everybody knows that this guy isn't actually licensed, to know like what he's actually got going on. I'm pretty sure he's still on probation or parole or something, and he was sending threats to her as well as the things he was saying to me. So I don't think that probably looks too good considering what he's done. But yeah, she's kind of just been messaging everybody, hitting up the different boxing commissions, and just kind of being sure that everyone knows like what they're dealing with this guy, because he's definitely unhinged.
Well, and it's not just that it's unfortunate, but it's not just this one particular guy. There's many of these people out there, and it pisses me the fuck off because I have a wife and I have a daughter, and I think we were texting the other night talking about, if somebody touches one of them, I'm probably going to end up in jail for a stupid reason because the laws aren't on my side in that situation. Yep. Let's just say that. I'm not trying to incriminate myself.
No, you're right though. Like you're absolutely right. It's
okay. So do you know who Bobo Abandon is?
No, that name sounds familiar.
He fights for Bare Knuckle and BKFC. He just commented now. Here it is. This dude really is a creep. He tried to get me to sign him as my manager. He was full of lies and bull crap. And you know what, Bo? Thank you for putting that out here, because that really helps the listeners and the viewers know that there is accountability here, and people need to be accountable for the stupidity that's going on in the world like this.
Yeah, there was something on MMA Fight Finder too, an article that I found. It was a thread that I think it was Golden Boy. He tried to steal a bunch of money from them. He had so he's not only this type of stuff, but it's also like some money issues. He's like trying to steal money from people. Maybe he stole money from his mom. He went to jail for that. So there's a lot of stuff this guy's done. He goes by like his middle name too sometimes. So he's just like an all around shady dude.
Have you ever heard of Paul Tyler?
That name sounds familiar too. I'm not good with names, but better with faces.
Well, I've never met him personally myself, but this guy and these two guys seem like they could be, what do they call it? Like the doppelganger of each other. I don't even know what they look like, but their mentality, it seems like they're one and the same. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry you've had to deal with this. I'm sorry you're continuing to deal with this in a certain way, because now your manager's involved on it, as she should be, trying to handle it, and it's just not right for people to act that way regardless of what's going on in their life. They can't fuck up everybody else's.
Yeah, like I said, I immediately blocked him, but I screenshotted everything, and I told her be sure that he doesn't have access to anywhere that I live or anything like that, because the last thing he would ever want to do is show up here we we have plenty of things here to handle him. But yeah, I mean, you don't want somebody like that knowing stuff about you. So
yeah, and a lot of people have. Well, I guess that means you're coming up in the world of celebrityism, I guess, because that's what happens when people get big. You get, that the always the famous saying of Notorious B.I.G. more money, more problems, and may not be necessarily all the money, but the more attention you get, the more problems bring with it.
Yeah.
So no, we appreciate you sharing that with us here. And letting people know that, again, there are these predator type people in the world, and especially in as females in a male, quote unquote, male dominant sport as of combat sports, which I don't believe is true, but that's what they consider it. You guys got to watch out for each other, and everybody needs to be watching out for you. We don't need these fucks in this world. So
yeah, like these guys are gonna come at you and just say, oh, like we're gonna make you a star, and we're going to do this for you, do that for you. It's like, do your research, find out who this person is, find out who they've actually worked with, because a lot of people are smooth talkers, and as women fighters, just as women in general, like it's all about being aware. It's like being safe. Again, like I said, I'm super vigilant. Like, I don't go to my car alone. I always look underneath my car because I'm scared someone's gonna like slice my ankles or something. So I'm like, don't ever let anyone know like where you're at. I don't ever post live exactly where I'm at or anything like that. Like, I'm just as a woman, or even being in the public eye, you have to be really careful about that because people are creepy.
they are, and it's very unfortunate. And again, I'm glad you got you didn't get sucked in so far as many people have in the past, I'm sure. So very good for that.
Yeah.
One last thing before we get you going out of here. I'm sure you got plenty of training and cooking dinner and feeding the dog and whatever else you got on this lovely evening. But we do something around here called Rapid Knockout. What's up, Big Ben? Rapid Knockout is 5 questions, has absolutely nothing to do with the fight world, and you can elaborate on any of them that you'd like. Are you ready?
Okay, ready.
All right. Question number 1, favorite food?
Oh, lamb and cookies.
Lamb and cookies?
I mean, not together, but I could eat lamb.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, wow, that's a hell of a combination.
Lamb is my favorite food. I can have cookies later, but definitely lamb.
I like it. Okay, I like some lamb meat. It's not bad. I like it better than deer sometimes, depending on how it's cooked. Now,
yeah, I like game meat.
Yeah, I like it. All right, question number 2. Favorite music, whether that be a genre or a group or an individual. What's your go-to on your playlist?
I listen to everything. When I'm about to work out, it's mostly hip hop. My favorite all-around band ever is always going to be Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks. It's like nothing touches Stevie Nicks to me. I'm pretty sure we're going to be best friends someday. But I it just depends on my mood. I listen to a lot of indie, but my go-to workout music is definitely rap.
All right, like when you say rap, I question everybody on this because I'm pushing 40. I grew up in the 90s, and the teenage years was in the 90s. So are we talking about real hip hop, or are we talking about some of this so-called hip hop that's nowadays?
I listen to a mix, actually. I like a lot of older stuff. I do listen to like Biggie, Pac, people like that, but I am now like I same thing with the fighting. I try to keep up to date with new artists. So like I actually like 21 Savage. At first I was like, man, I don't like him, but people like that I'm starting to listen to now and like, so I kind of like some of the new stuff. Some of the new stuff sucks, but yeah, I have a little bit of a combination of everything.
Okay, well, some of the old stuff sucked too. I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
True. Question number 3, besides combat sports, training and fighting and all that, what's your favorite hobby? What do you like to do on your downtime?
I like to go outside and play with my dog.
What kind of dog?
I have a little pit bull. He's sleeping right now, surprisingly, but pretty much I spend time with him, training him. Anything where I can kind of be outside being active, usually Sundays is more of an active recovery day for me. And Kind of anytime I can get just like my feet to the earth and I can just get out in nature, whether it's hiking or swimming or going to the lake, just being outside in nature, I just love it.
No, I like it too. Obviously I need to do a little bit more of it, but that's all right. We'll get to there. If it's, again, question number 4, if it's nothing sport or combat sports related, nothing fighting related, what would be your favorite sport to either participate or to watch or both?
Basketball. I'd be too short to play basketball, but I really love to watch basketball.
Okay. What kind of draws you to basketball?
I think because there's not a lot of players, so I can actually understand what's going on. Like football is really badass because I get to watch them hit each other and stuff. But basketball, I really love watching. Like a few Christmases ago, I went to the Celtics game. I really enjoy watching it. Like I said, I think it's because there's less players and I can keep up with what's happening, and it's just really fun to watch.
So who's your favorite team?
Well, it was the Celtics, so I guess right now I'm going to still have to go with the Lakers because I have all their gear.
Oh. Oh boy, oh boy.
I have all the Lakers. I have all the Lakers club.
That's all right. That's all right. I won't hold it against you. I'm here in Indiana. We have the Pacers. That's about the only hometown team that I go for. It's harsh sometimes, most of the times, but yeah. Boo the Lakers. That's right, Hanowski. Hanowski comes in with boo the Lakers. I love it. This is what happens. 76ers, Big Ben. I was a fan when Barkley was there. That's how old I am. All right. Question number 5. Whether it be on the sports and entertainment side or the personal side, biggest role model growing up in your life?
Good one. I guess I would have to say my dad. I don't know if I maybe realized that until I was older, but as I continued to get older, I see like a lot of the characteristics that he has in myself because he's always just been like a really hard worker. He never stops going. He's constantly like just building stuff. Like he just built like an extra house outside with the underground getaway just to do it.
Not a bad thing to have.
Yeah, right. He just like builds everything, and I noticed that I'm like really like mechanically inclined, and I fix a lot of stuff, and I do like a lot of home improvement and repair. So I guess like even though I didn't really realize it, like now I think I realize like, okay, it's my dad.
So were you close to him growing up?
We were close, but I kind of, as a kid, I had more of, my parents were really young when they had me. My mom was only 16 or 17, and my dad was pretty young too. So we had a good relationship, but it's gotten better as I've gotten older, I think.
Gotcha. I know the feeling because me and my mother are like the same person. I was like reincarnated as my mother in a male's body. And her and I clashed a lot because we're both very stubborn, Sicilian blooded people. And yeah, but God love her. I love her to death. I'd do anything for her any day of the week. She knows that. We just don't always see eye to eye on things.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. They've been really like, I've been surprised the other day when I told my mom I was going to do bare knuckle. Even when I take Muay Thai fights, normally she will be like, just be sure you don't get your face hit. And like her first reaction was, well, I think this will be good because you'll really be able to tell when you hit somebody good. And I was just like, what is wrong with this woman? So I almost tried to antagonize her. I was like, but my face could get really messed up, right? Like when you watch it, like you can't freak out. Because like maybe if I do this enough times, eventually I'm going to get stitches. But she just stayed really calm. So I don't know what she was doing.
It sounds like she's got something hidden up her sleeve for you or something. Does your parents watch your fights?
They watch. My dad's only watched one. They don't like me seeing me get hit in the face.
Right.
So, but they're
part of it.
Right, that's part of it. They'll just be like, Like, you can't block, you're going to get hit in the face. It would be great if you could block every single punch, but I was like, especially bare knuckle, I like laid it all out there. I was like, look, you're gonna get touched. And nobody really, with the exception of very few people, ever leaves unscathed. Your face is not gonna probably look good when you leave.
This is true. This is true. Well, Crystal Lawson, now's the time that you can have your sponsors, your fans, your family, friends, family, fans. I'll spit it out right one of these times. Throw them out. Give them shout outs. The floor is yours, dear.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so first and foremost, I want to thank the gym that I'm training at is X3. I train with Justin Burns there. I have now started doing my cross training at Independent MMA with Doug Usher. Chrissa Timms will be a huge training partner for me. She's a great wrestler. She's a BJJ black belt. I think I'll be doing some cross training maybe at Team Octopus as well. Tammy Stone is my manager. My husband is always there to support me. I have 2 kids, Alexia and Bradley, who are super supportive as well. The boxing coach that I'm working at, his name is James. He's out of Independent as well. And today I'm talking to a cryo company. It's called Chills Cryo, and they'll be sponsoring some of my recovery as well. We're still looking for sponsors for this upcoming fight and seeing what else we come up with.
All right. Well, good luck. Best of wishes to you in your future debut of bare knuckle MMA at Gamebred. September 11th, check her out, Biloxi, Mississippi, and I believe it's on the bare knuckle app, right?
Yep, that's right. Yeah.
All right, check her out. Crystal Lawson, thank you again for taking the time out and joining DaLion here at Combat Zone. You're more than welcome as always. Anytime, check out everything, what's going on at BWSPORTS1.com. And until next time, I'm DaLion. This is Combat Zone, and we're out. Peace.
Bye.
Thank you very much, dear.
Thank you.